Joining me on the phone right now on Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank, is Indiana High School graduate and now opera star Ed Parks. Ed, thank you very much for joining us once again on Indiana in the Morning. It's great to hear from you. I'll ask you this first. How was your holiday break?
Oh, it was pretty good. Pretty good. It's really nice to be home and be with my family. And, yeah, it was a great time.
Excellent. Good to hear that. So we have to talk about the big thing that's going on. This weekend, you are going to get the chance to perform. Well, actually, you've been performing, I guess, on a tour with Andrea Bocelli, probably one of the world's most popular opera stars. I got to ask, how does it feel to be able to perform alongside one of the greats?
I'll tell you what, it's been really incredible. He's, number one, to be performing in these kind of arenas is not typical for opera singers. Like Madison Square Garden and Hollywood Bowl, and we're coming to Pittsburgh. We're going to be in PPG Paints Arena. That's been incredible. Singing with Andrea has been great. He's such a nice guy, such an amazing talent, and it's been a real honor.
How did you and him get connected for this concert series?
Well, I heard from a conductor friend of mine. His name's Stephen Mercurio, who is conducting these concerts, and he and I had worked together a few times before. And he called me and said, Andrea is looking for a baritone for the part of the tour in America, and he asked if I was available, and that's about how it went. I mean, I think they sent Andrea some of my materials, and he had a listen and approved it. So it's been pretty fun.
So what will you be performing at the concert?
So the first half of the concert is it's mostly standard opera repertoire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm singing two duets with him, one from Otello, and the other one is from an opera called The Pearl Fishers.
Wow.
So I sing, two back-to-back duets with him, and then that's my night.
But still, that's pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty fun.
I mean,
we're having a good time.
I would do a lot to get the chance to even talk with him, let alone to sing with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
He's a really sweet guy. He's very quiet and very genuine. I think, what's been impressive is just what you think he is. It's really nice to be around somebody that's so famous and so well known and see that he still is just a good human.
Yeah, he is such a gentle man. And I use that and I differentiate. There's the term gentleman, but he seems like in his public life he is such a gentle man. And probably somebody that people could look up to as far as how they handle celebrity life.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, so let's talk about the career that you've had. I mean, I think the last time we caught up with you, you were getting ready to do the premiere of the Steve Jobs opera, I believe, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. So, what's been the career like since then? You've been obviously COVID's had a lot to play into it because a lot of theatrical and opera production shut down during that time.
Yeah, so that would have been in 2017, probably. That I talked to you guys about that. So after that, we made a recording of that piece, and we won a Grammy for it, and I think it was 2018 or 19. I can't remember the year, but so that happened, which was a big deal, and then I've just been kind of grinding it out, man. I mean, it's life of an opera singer is just, gig to gig and try to balance, home and work.
Mm-hmm. It seems
so,
like...
COVID,
go ahead.
Yeah, COVID kind of put a little hold on things, but now we're back at it.
It seems like with performing lifestyles, whether you're a stage performer, an opera performer, or something of that ilk, you always seem to go where you're needed, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, the way it typically works for opera singers is I have an agent, and they line up work. And before, whenever I was a younger singer, they would line up auditions, and I would go audition for houses and different parts. And now that I've worked at most of the houses around this country, I don't have to audition as much. But so yeah, they kind of set up my schedule or send me what if a house wants me to sing, and I look at my schedule and see if it fits into my life, and we go from there. But yeah, but it's pretty much bouncing around from house to house, city to city.
Yeah, and your reputation, a good reputation, sounds like precedes you in those matters if you don't have to audition anymore for the parts.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think that happens whenever you get older. I mean, they kind of know you and know what you're capable of, and I think as you get older, you try to, kind of scratch out a little niche for yourself. And I do a lot of new music, and I do a lot of contemporary work, and so yeah, I get most of my work kind of goes there.
Do you find yourself more drawn then to the contemporary work?
I mean,
because obviously, because you did the Steve Jobs stuff, and that was a world premiere.
Yeah. I'm doing this, right after the tour's done. I'm done on the tour on the 20th of December. Then, beginning of January, I go to Lyric Opera Chicago, and we're doing a new opera there called Proving Up. And then, right after I'm finished there, I go to Denver to do another new opera called The Shining, which is based on the Stephen King novel.
Oh wow!
So. Yeah, so we're doing a lot of new stuff this year, and after that I do a bohème, which is nice to kind of do something standard.
Yeah, go back to the standards there. It sounds like.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But to do The Shining in Colorado, that's where the hotel was, man. That's where they filmed it.
I know.
We're talking with Edward Parks, opera star from Indiana, who is performing with Andrea Bocelli at PPG Paints Arena this weekend. And Ed, I was looking through this, and whenever I saw the notice that you were going to come up on Facebook, that you were going to come to the area, I have to ask, you've performed in all of these venues, and you said it yourself, it's a very different venue than performing at a traditional theater, or you're performing at Madison Square Garden and the Hollywood Bowl, but PPG Paints Arena. But essentially with this concert, you're coming home. How does that feel to be able to do kind of a hometown concert, so to speak?
Oh, man, it's so nice. I've been wanting to sing in Pittsburgh since I started, and I still haven't sung at the opera there. And, I get asked a lot by people from back home, when I'm coming to Pittsburgh to sing, or, something a little closer, because, it's not real easy to travel. And so I'm super excited to be singing in, not my hometown, but, the city closest to my hometown.
Mm-hmm. Your backyard, so to speak.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. We have to talk about your beginnings in music. I got the chance to see some of that whenever the two of us were in men's chorus and a cappella choir back in the day, with Mr. Salzer as the conductor and our teacher for that. So talk about how your musical upbringing a little bit. Talk about how you got interested in singing and doing opera as a profession.
Well, I get asked a lot about, if I come from a musical family, because a lot of people I know, their parents are musicians or were singers or teachers or things like that. They've kind of come up in the world of that kind of music. And I say I do come from a musical family because, we're the type of family that when we get together, we're all standing around and singing in the kitchen. And it's not nobody has been trained, but I was pretty young. I grew up around that kind of scenario, and I was just fascinated with singing and making my voice do things, whether it was imitating, all kinds of music or, people's voices. And my parents noticed that and got me a voice teacher. I was pretty young, younger than I think most people, and end up taking private vocal lessons. And I studied with a man named Leonard DeFabo, who was a big figure in Indiana. And I studied with him until I I graduated high school. And, I did all the chorus stuff with Mr. Salzer, and I studied with piano with another teacher who I love, is A.C. Gongaware. So I had a great group of people surrounding me, supporting me. So I'm very lucky that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, it wasn't until I was in my teenage years that I really thought this is something I'm good at and that I wanted to, pursue as a profession.
Yeah. So it was at that point that the light bulb went off. That is pretty cool to be able to know what you want to do at that point in your life. And you've had the drive, I think, as well, to just keep getting better and better and better at it. I mean, you have, I remember covering the Operalia competition that you were involved in. I remember, and I keep seeing you doing all of these different operas, different performances, and now doing this. I mean, you're really advancing a lot in the world, but it also seems like you're continuing to learn as the process continues. You probably learn something from each and every opera that you do.
Well, I think when you stop learning, you're kind of starting to die.
Agreed.
It's like I'm learning things in all aspects of life here and teaching myself, new skills. And, I live in an older home, and, I'm learning all kinds of new skills in that.
Yeah.
I'm a student by nature, and I like to learn new things. And, with singing, it's, learning contemporary music is way harder than learning something standard. And I think that's part of a draw for me. It's challenging, mm-hmm. and I'm kind of always looking for that kind of challenge.
All right. Let's go over the particulars for this weekend's concert. It will be, as you said, at PPG Paints Arena. What time will it be?
8:00, I think, is the start.
Okay, 8:00, and then
people listening that are going to be going, I would get there early and, make sure you're on time.
Make sure you're on time. And I'd give a little extra time for COVID protocols and things like that.
That's right.
All right,
yeah.
Excellent. Ed, thank you very much for doing this interview. Break a leg out there. Thanks again for joining us here on Indiana in the Morning.
Thanks for having me.